Welcome back to the Deep Dive. So if you're a dedicated language learner, you're probably always hunting for that key thing, right? That skill that really unlocks fluency, the ability to just talk without stopping and thinking so much.
Yeah, exactly.
And today, we are diving deep into maybe the biggest hurdle, that habit, that ingrained habit of mentally translating everything from your native language before you actually say it in English.
It really is the invisible bottleneck, isn't it? We've looked at some sources that define this problem really clearly, and maybe more importantly, they give us a pretty clear 5-step way to tackle it.
Okay?
Our whole mission here is to give you, the learner, a kind of shortcut, a way to stop translating in your head and actually start thinking in English. Because honestly, this shift, it's not just nice to have, it's essential for speed and sounding natural.
Right. And I think we need to really nail down why translating is such a problem. I mean, when you first start learning, it feels like you need it, like it's a bridge. But when does that bridge become, well, a bottleneck?
That's a great question, because the sources point out just how much mental energy that extra step takes up. It's not just about being slow, though it definitely makes you slower. It's about cognitive load. You know, when you're translating, your brain is basically trying to run a dictionary and a grammar checker in the background, all while you're trying to have a conversation.
Huh. Yeah, that sounds exhausting.
It is. By the time you've processed the thought in your first language, found the English words, figured out the sentence structure, well, the moment for a quick natural reply is often just gone.
And that's where those literal phrasing accidents come in, the ones the sources mention.
Precisely. If you stick too closely to translating, you risk just copying the sentence structure from your native language straight into English.
Yeah.
For instance, the source gave this example. Depending on your language, you might think something that translates literally to, "I'm studying English hardly." Makes sense, maybe word for word from your language.
But it sounds wrong in English.
Exactly. The natural English is just, "I'm studying English hard." That tiny difference, it immediately tells a native speaker you're translating, and it kind of disrupts the conversational flow. It slows you down.
Okay, so the native language isn't just a tool you use sometimes. It's acting like this slow operating system running in the background that we need to somehow bypass.
That's a good way to put it.
So if fluency means going from that 3-step process, think, translate, speak, to just 1-step think, speak, how do we actually, rewire our brains to do that?
It's basically cognitive restructuring. Yeah, rewiring is a good term. We're trying to build new, faster connections in the brain. Connections that link the idea or the feeling or the object, whatever it is, directly to the English word or phrase.
Skipping that translation buffer completely.
Skipping it entirely. And that's absolutely essential if you want to speak faster, sound more confident, and handle the nuances of the language.
It sounds like a pretty huge undertaking, though. But you mentioned the sources break it down.
They do. Into 5, actually, quite simple, practical habits. Things you can start doing right away. These aren't like massive study sessions. They're more like small mental shifts you make throughout your day.
Okay, good. Less intimidating.
Definitely. It's all about forming habits and building that direct English muscle memory, bit by bit, day by day.
All right, let's get into them. What's the very first step the sources recommend?
The foundation.
Okay, step 1 is immediate object naming.
Object naming. Okay.
It's about building that visual vocabulary link. So right now, wherever you are listening, just look around, start silently labeling things you see, but only using English words. You're just training your brain to associate the thing with the English word directly. See a table, think table. See your phone, think phone. Chair, chair. Window, window. Blue sky, whatever's there.
And the key thing here, you're saying, is not trying to make full sentences yet.
Not yet. Nope. Just making that direct connection.
Yeah.
Visual thing, English word, quick links.
Okay. Rapid fire association. Exactly. And once you get comfortable labeling things silently, the sources say the next step is to move from just words to more of a narrative. Which brings us to practice number 2, the internal monologue.
Talking to yourself in English.
Yeah.
Let's see how that would work. It's like low pressure practice, right? Lots of it.
Yeah, exactly. Is the goal just getting words out, or should we be thinking about grammar too?
Well, it's kind of both. You're basically encouraging your brain to default to English for its internal chatter.
Right.
So when you're doing everyday things alone, making coffee, walking somewhere, getting dressed, you mentally narrate what you're doing in English.
Mm-hmm.
You might think, okay, I'm washing the dishes now, or where are my keys? I'm looking for my keys, or maybe Right, I need to leave in about 10 minutes.
You're replacing that little voice in your head with an English one.
That's clever. It turns dead time into practice time.
Mm.
Okay, so what's step 3? This one feels like it might be the real challenge. Expressing quick ideas directly. Moving beyond just describing actions. Yeah, this is where you capture those immediate, sort of fleeting thoughts and feelings.
And this is often the hardest leap, isn't it? Because it means catching that very first impulse. The sources say you have to really commit to expressing those sudden ideas or feelings or needs internally in English first.
Right. You have to stop yourself before your brain automatically does it in your native language.
Exactly. You intercept the thought.
But that's usually where the habit breaks, right?
Yeah.
When an idea gets complicated or maybe you're stressed or in a hurry, it just feels easier and safer to slip back into your first language. How do we handle that pressure?
The research suggests you tackle it by building the habit with simple ideas first. Really drill those.
Okay.
So if you have a quick thought, let's imagine the thought in your native language is basically, I'll check the time, instead of letting your brain go through that translation process.
You force it.
You force it to jump straight to the English. I'll check the time. It's about building up a reflex, like muscle memory, for maybe the 500 or so most common phrases you use every single day. Once those simple, quick responses become automatic.
That helps support you when things get more stressful or complicated.
Precisely. That automaticity, that muscle memory, it frees up mental space to handle the harder stuff.
That makes a lot of sense.
No.
Okay, powerful stuff. Moving on to step 4 then. Environmental immersion. I know lots of learners are already trying this, but do the sources offer a specific strategy to make it better for bypassing translation?
They do. Immersion is definitely key for building recognition speed, but it needs to be targeted for this specific goal. 2 main actions are highlighted.
Okay.
First, change your phone's language setting to English. Suddenly, every little interaction, checking notifications, navigating menus, it forces an immediate, real-world English microtask.
Right, you're constantly interacting with it.
Yeah. Second, when you watch movies or YouTube, use English subtitles.
Ah, okay. Why specifically English subtitles? Why not use subtitles in your native language, which might feel easier for understanding?
Because the goal isn't just comprehension, it's training your brain to connect the meaning directly from the English sights and sounds.
I see.
When you use English subtitles, you're getting the visual word, the spoken word, and the context, all in English, reinforcing that direct link to the concept. If you use subtitles in your native language, your brain just defaults to reading the easy text, and you're basically just watching a foreign film with commentary. It short-circuits the immersion benefit for thinking in English.
Okay, so you're focusing on absorbing the meaning through English itself, not translating word by word using the subtitles as a crutch.
Exactly. Focus on the overall meaning, the feeling, the concept.
Great tip. Okay, finally, step 5. Forced practice. This sounds like where the rubber meets the road. Taking all this mental practice into the real world.
This is it. This is the accelerator. You need to find conversation partners. Could be friends, a teacher, even some of the AI chat tools now are pretty good for this.
And why is that live practice so crucial?
Because real conversation forces speed. It just does. It takes away that mental luxury, that time you give yourself to translate carefully.
Right. If you pause for too long.
Yeah, you pause for like 10 seconds trying to craft the perfect sentence. The conversation's moved on. The other person is waiting. You lose the flow.
So that pressure is actually helpful. What if a learner really struggles with that speed, though? Does the research offer any ways to kind of manufacture that urgency in practice?
Absolutely. There's actually an interesting anecdote in one source about learners using a 3-second rule with their practice partners.
Oh.
Yeah, the learner basically told their partner, look, if I pause for more than 3 seconds trying to think of something, just prompt me in English, ask me a question, anything.
Ah, that creates pressure.
It does. It's a self-imposed constraint, but it creates just enough urgency to push you past that translation phase. You effectively remove the option of falling back on the slow, comfortable buffer.
Okay, so we've got the 5 steps: object naming, internal monologue, direct short thoughts, immersion with English subtitles, and forced practice with speed. But doing all this, especially the last step, it bumps right up against that huge fear learners have, making mistakes, especially when speaking fast.
Oh, absolutely. That fear. It's probably the biggest killer of fluency. It freezes people up.
So how do we shift that mindset?
You have to really internalize that the main goal is communication. It's about ease and momentum, not about perfect grammar every single time.
Right.
The sources often compare thinking in English to building muscle.
Yeah.
It happens gradually with consistent, maybe low-stakes effort. It's not about one big, terrifying performance. The focus has got to be on speed and habit. You have to accept that making mistakes is just part of learning, part of the process.
And the payoff. You mentioned earlier people feel freer.
Mhm.
What does that actually feel like for the speaker? What's the reward for pushing through that discomfort?
Well, remember that cognitive load we talked about?
At the brain doing too many things at once.
Yeah. When you stop translating, all that mental energy is freed up. It's suddenly available for, the actual communication part. Understanding nuance, catching the tone, really listening to the other person, thinking about your response in terms of meaning, not just words.
So you're more present in the conversation.
Exactly. The sources describe it as feeling not just faster, but freer, more confident. And importantly, you sound more natural because you're drawing on concepts directly. This allows for more flexible, idiomatic language rather than those sometimes stiff translated sentences.
Okay, we've covered the theory, the steps, the mindset. Let's do a quick check-in. See where you, the listener, are right now. The sources had this sort of instantaneous test.
Right. It's designed to see what your brain does by default. So listen to the idea we give you. Your only job is do not translate. Just let the English thoughts surface immediately. We're testing that reaction time.
Ready. Focus on the meaning.
Okay. Imagine your immediate internal thought is basically the idea. Native language thought representing, I'm going to work today. Go. What was the immediate English thought?
It should have popped up as, I'm going to work today.
Hmm.
Did you have to think about it, or did it just appear?
All right, next one. Your internal thought is the concept. Native language thought representing there's only one left. Think now. English only.
Should be instant. There's only one left.
Okay, last one for this quick test. The thought is native language thought representing I want to relax at home. English thought. Now.
It should be, I want to relax at home.
So how did that feel? If you felt any hesitation, even like a split-second pause where you felt your brain reaching for the translation, congratulations. You just pinpointed exactly where your brain tends to default back to that native language buffer. That's where you need to focus your practice using these steps.
That's really useful. Okay, so this deep dive has given us the tools, everything from silently naming objects to forcing yourself into faster conversations.
Yeah.
The last piece is just doing it right. Commitment.
Exactly. It comes down to consistent practice. So here's the challenge for you, drawn straight from the source material. Try spending just 10 minutes every single day thinking only in English.
10 minutes. Seems manageable.
Totally. No safety net of translation allowed during that time. You could use it to describe your morning routine as you do it. Think about what you're going to have for lunch, plan your evening, whatever. Just narrate it all internally, only in English.
That 10-minute block sounds like a great way to build the habit. It forces the issue, but isn't overwhelming. If you stick to that, you should definitely see improvements in speed and confidence pretty quickly.
Absolutely. And one final thought to leave you with. If fluency is really about communication freedom, then it raises an important question for you to think about. What specific ideas, what topics, what complex thoughts are you maybe avoiding in English right now, simply because they feel too hard to translate quickly?
Ooh, that's a good question. The things you shy away from.
Yeah. Maybe focus your learning for the next few weeks on grabbing those tricky concepts directly in English. Learn the vocabulary, the common phrases related to them. Don't waste energy trying to map them perfectly from your native language. Just learn them fresh in English.
Embrace the core message of this whole deep dive then.
You got it. Don't translate. Think in English.